Scaling your law firm doesn't have to be difficult. It's all about mastering a few key strategies, systems, and mindsets. Welcome to the Scalable Law Podcast, where we talk about how you can increase profit in your pocket and time in your calendar. My name is Caralee and I have successfully scaled my firm so that it doesn't solely rely on me. Now I love teaching other law firm owners how to do the same. Let's transform your business starting now. Welcome to another episode of the Scalable Law Podcast. I hope no matter where you are tuning in from, you are having a fabulous day. We are continuing with our awesome series of having a whole bunch of scalable law clients who are law firm owners and who have all had a varied journey into their law practices. It's been really awesome actually, because I know all of these lawyers and parts of their journeys, but as we delve deep into their practices and how they came about being law firm owners and the wins and the challenges, I'm learning a lot about them as well. So I hope that you're really enjoying this series. Today we have a wonderful guest. Her name is Adele Anthony, and she has been a Scalable Law client since the beginning. She was actually my very first client in the Scalable Business Lounge, and she's remained in there for nearly 4 years now. So Adele has had a bit of a different journey from many. So we're going to delve in and learn about her practice, learn about how she came to being a law firm owner, and learning about her recent developments into creating even more freedom for herself. I would love to welcome to the podcast Adele. Welcome, Adele. How are you?
Hi, thanks, Caralee. I'm wonderful. How are you?
Good. Well, I didn't say this in the lead up to before you came on, but you have been on the podcast a couple of times before. But I did say that you were my very first client into Scalable Law all those, few years ago. And at that time, you were just starting your own firm. So I'd love to hear more about, for those who haven't listened to the podcast previously or those who don't know your story, it would be great if you could just give us a little bit of a insight into how you started your firm and what the idea of it was at that point, and then we'll talk about what's been happening more recently and what the next stage is.
Okay, absolutely. So I started Your Legacy Lawyer when COVID came to town, and I was at home anyway, and I just thought, gee, wouldn't it be great if I could work from home? And I saw that other lawyers were doing that as well, so working quite successfully remotely. And so I decided not to go back to being an employed lawyer, and instead thought, work-life balance. I'm at home, I can get everything done as well as work and everything like that. And it all went from there. And I already had spoken to you about joining up with you because I just needed some help whilst I'd run other successful businesses. This was a totally new thing for me, running a law practice. So I'm forever grateful for everything that you've helped me with in running the practice. And now 4 years later, I'm still here, and it's still successful, and I'm looking at growing it now.
Yeah, so. Awesome. And so the other thing too, which is interesting for your story, and I would love just to touch on, is that you were later to law, and I think that's really important, because I think too many times we feel like it's too late to start a practice, or it's too late to study and do something new, but not for you. You came later to law and then you started your practice. So let's just talk a little bit about that. And for context, because people can't see you because it's a podcast, not that if they saw you, they would think this anyway, but your nearer retirement age, Adele has got adult grandchildren. She looks about 45. She doesn't look nearer 60, but, that's been part of the journey, and thinking about for you what you want life to look like as you're leading into that stage of your life. So talk us through a little bit of that.
Okay, so yes, I was later to law, although I did start my career back in 1982 as a law clerk, law assistant, that type of thing. I did that for about 25 years before I took a break and ran a couple of businesses. And when my youngest daughter went off to university to do a law degree and a commerce degree, I decided that I wanted to go too. So I was 45 when I started my law degree.
That's so awesome.
Yes, yeah.
It is.
And I really surprised myself. I mean, in terms of marks and everything, I thought I would really struggle, but I did breeze through those years at university, and I also did a marketing degree at the same time.
Wow,
so,
that's cool.
Yeah. So, my uni years were wonderful, wonderful years. And so when I finished and when I graduated, I ended an 18-year relationship and I moved down to Victoria to stay with my sister, and I started practicing law down in some small country practices. So I did like a bit of everything, but I really gravitated towards the wills and estates. So when I came back to Queensland, and I always knew that I was going to come back because all my kids and grandkids are up here, I decided to get employed. I was going to be an employed lawyer. I didn't think there was any chance of going out on my own at that stage. So I was working as an associate lawyer in a local law firm, and then COVID came, and that was about 4 months after I started there, and we were all sort of home, and it was at that time that JobKeeper came in a little bit later, and we were all called back, and I just decided I loved being at home because I was able to get things done and still sort of see clients and that type of thing. And I thought, wow, life balance, this is really going to work. I can do it on my own terms. And so I just decided to set up Your Legacy Lawyer and niche it right down to estate planning. So no estate administration, no estate litigation, just estate planning. And then I did my master's as well in that area too, which took me a couple of years, just to really focus down and deliver like a great experience, something different than your generalist lawyer can offer.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's where it all started.
So in terms of how long you'd been graduated until you had your own practice. So I came to law differently as well. And I came into my own practice differently. And I see on different Facebook groups and things like that, there's a lot of chat about, am I too not experienced enough to go out on my own firm and things like that. And, there's sort of like this rule of thumb, I suppose you could say, where people kind of have this belief that you need to be like at least 10 years post-admission before you go out on your own or whatever it might be. That was certainly not the case for me. And that's not been the case for you either. So tell me about how long it was between graduating and actually going out on your own, and also what the benefits and challenges were of that.
Okay, so I went out on my own probably 2.5 years after getting admitted. And I rang lots of people. I think I rang you, I rang Midja, I rang quite a few people saying, am I mad to go out on my own after I've only been practicing for 2.5 years, even though I had like a legal career, many years ago.
Yes.
Doing wills and those sorts of things. But I haven't had any problem with doing that.
Yeah.
But then I've worked with you, and then I've also got like a coach that helps us with estate planning. So, I've dived really deep into that. And I think that rule of thumb that you need 10 years post-admission, that can be ruled out, because I'm one example of someone, and you as well, that you can do it and do it successfully without having to get all those years experience.
And as you have said, like, you've put yourself in positions where you've got great people around you. And so in both my program and also in Caralee program you're talking about as well, it's not just the coach that you're with, but you're with all the other lawyers who are specializing in that area of practice and working on scaling their business in the case of being in scalable law. And so I guess that's like, these things are around, but they weren't necessarily around like years ago. And now that they are, you can find these little pockets of people that you can kind of surround yourself with that can just help you through. Because having a phone a friend, if you're not sure what to do, all of that kind of stuff. And there is nothing wrong with learning on the job.
Absolutely not. I mean, and many other industries you learn on the job. You don't have to have all that experience. You can just come in and like an apprenticeship. I mean, even lawyers years and years ago, they did an apprenticeship.
Yes.
And they had support. So whilst I wasn't doing an apprenticeship, I had you and I had Tara as well.
Yeah.
So that made a huge difference. I wasn't on my own.
Yeah, and the apprenticeship is really like the 2 years that you do after uni while you're on your restricted practicing certificate.
That's right.
And I think as well the other benefit, and this is the same with me, is I niched down and you niched down really tightly. And so therefore the range of learning isn't as wide as if you were going out generally.
Yeah, no, I mean, I used to, as a generalist, I'd be down at the magistrate's court in the morning doing, like a driving under the influence or an assault or something. Then I'd be back in the office doing some wills, and then I'd be doing family law and a fencing dispute. Like, you just can't know it all. And I knew that if I was going to go out on my own, that I needed to niche right down and know a lot about a little area.
So the biggest thing is that you had the courage to go out on your own, which was awesome. And you were really driven by this idea of having some freedom in your lifestyle. And I think that's been a big driver for you, from what I can tell, the whole time you've had your own business, is having that freedom of movement. You've lived in a couple of different locations where you can just take your business with you. Talk to me about that a little bit.
Yes, I did want freedom. It wasn't about the money for me. It was more about freedom to live where I wanted to live. I've got a partner that likes moving around and, experiencing different places. I hope we're settled down now here in Toowoomba. But it enabled me to do that. I pretty much can work from wherever I want to, as long as I've got an internet connection. And I've successfully done that overseas as well when I've had to. But generally when I go on holidays, I don't do any work. But really, I mean, if a client needs me, I can be there. So that was the idea behind Your Legacy Lawyer, was to do it on my own terms, travel when I wanted to travel and work when I wanted to work. That got quite busy.
Yes.
And there were a few periods where I was starting to get burnt out. I actually didn't think I would get clients. I mean, I had the courage to go out on my own, and then thinking, well, will I get a client? Won't I get a client? And the clients really came quite quickly. So, yeah, I was sort of thinking, have I done the right thing? Is there another way? Should I go back to being an employed lawyer? Because I'm juggling so many hats as a business owner and a lawyer as well. So, yeah.
And that's the difficulty, isn't it? I think going out on your own, a lot of, I think we can easily look at it and go, oh, well, I'm doing all the billing, so I could go and do all the billing for myself, and then, life will be great because I'll also have the freedom as well. But then you get really into running the practice and you realize that you're now doing all the billing, you're now doing all the accounts, you're now making all the decisions, you're now doing all the marketing, you're now trying to hire team members that, come and go and cause stress and all of that kind of stuff. And it can be at some point, I find that most law firm owners get quite overwhelmed by all of that. And it's not surprising really, is it, that they do?
No, I mean, I had a space of a few months where 2 staff members left. And that was quite overwhelming because I then had to take on their workload as well as mine. That was really overwhelming. At that time, I thought, I'm just going to give it all up. I'm just going to quit law and just retire. And I nearly did that. And then I had an opportunity to work for a law firm in Brisbane, and the money was really good. And as Midja will tell you, the shiny object.
Yes.
And yes, I did go for the shiny object.
And so tell us about that in terms of the thought process, because again, I talk to so many different lawyers and they're all at these like different varying stages. And some of the conversations that I have with lawyers when I'm on a call with them is, should I go back to being an employed solicitor? Because this is this is much harder than I expected. They might not be paying themselves what they thought they might be getting out of the business. They might be juggling other things in their life, and they think, oh, look, it's just going to be easier for me to go and work for someone else than wearing all the hats of trying to run this business. So was that a little bit of what was sort of happening for you?
That's exactly what was happening for me, and the shiny object proved very difficult to sort of turn down.
So tell me what the shiny object looked like. How was it what kind of platter was it presented on?
It was a senior role, autonomy, really great pay, because when you're working in your own business, it fluctuates a little bit, and I thought that's just stable. I know exactly how much I'm getting each week and that sort of thing. So I did take up that offer, and I was there for a few months, but it's just not me.
Yes. So, and I mean, some of us either just aren't meant to be employed, or if I'll talk for myself, I think I'd be pretty unemployable. Really?
I think I'm unemployable now, so I just have to employ myself.
Yeah.
I think it's the lack of control, like the money's good, you've got the support staff, all of that sort of thing. I don't have to do the marketing, I don't have to do the billing, anything like that. But the client experience was always what I focused on in my business. Mm-hmm. And when you're working in a large firm, you don't get to give that client experience to the level that I wanted to give it to, because you're on set time frames and things like that. Appointments can't really go over what they're meant to go over. You've got, they'll book you in with so many clients, whereas with myself, I can book in as many as I feel comfortable that if they need me for an extra 10 minutes, that it's not going to inconvenience another client coming next. Yeah. So I think it was that I didn't feel like I could give that level of client experience to the people that were coming in.
So the way the firm was set up, and you being an individual, you have to go and slot into that practice, and then you have to deliver the service in the way that they have it all set up. And I imagine as well that, you're then not attracting the clients that you would ordinarily attract. You're just getting a plethora of variety of clients, and some may not be exactly what you're after in terms of, the clients that bring you joy and all of that kind of thing. Was that a little bit of the experience as well?
Yeah, that's 100%. I mean, because we had walk-ins, so you had to take walk-ins, very price conscious. I'd say probably 85% of them were price conscious, and whereas I don't get that with my clients. My clients actually want to work with me, and price doesn't even come into the equation. And so having clients that feel like they're having to pay for something that's not worth it, it's quite confronting, whereas I don't get that with my clients.
Yes, and you don't get that with your clients because over the last few years you have worked really hard at creating a solid brand.
That's right. I mean, my personal branding is what I decided, and with your help, was to market myself as, the head of your legacy lawyer, and give sort of clients a level of certainty. They know my qualifications and all those sorts of things, but they also know that they can trust me. Yes. And I've built like a community of raving fans who always give me testimonials. And if someone on a community Facebook site pops up with who can do wills, who's a good wills lawyer, I have, hundreds of people referring me. And that's what I like. Yeah. I like to feel like I've got purpose and clients value what I do, not that they're thinking about, oh, I just have to get a will, so I'm getting you to do it. It's not like that for my clients.
Yeah, totally. And so you dabbled your toe into the water of being employed again, and you quickly retracted it. And then your business was already still set up and everything like that. So that's sort of been this year, hasn't it, that's happened?
That was February. I quit working for that law firm and went back because I kept my business open because I didn't know whether I'd be employable. or whether I'd like it. So I kept Your Legacy Lawyer going, and I was seeing clients on weekends and things like that.
Yeah. So version 2.0, what does that look like for you?
Version 2.0 is that I really want to see where I can go with Your Legacy Lawyer. I want, I've just signed up to get my own office. I want to hire staff again. And even though I said I would never do that after some sketchy
experiences,
I've decided that, no, I want to see where I can go. And the fact that I'm 60 doesn't mean that I don't have a lot left in me to give to the community. So I've just decided to go for gold.
Well, the wonderful thing about the legal profession is that there is really no cap on how, when retirement needs to happen. And I think, working and delivering an incredible service like you do, that brings purpose to your life and those around you. So I think that's it. Age has nothing to do with it, really, does it?
No, I mean, I don't feel 60. I still feel, a lot younger. But I still see other women my age and older that are still, having purpose and working in the legal industry. And I think I can do that as well. And I just want to see how far I can take it. And I'm still doing it on my terms. So I only see a certain amount of clients per week. And if that continues to get busier and busier, then I desperately need to have someone come on board. But I'm waiting for the right person. I don't want to take any impulsive action again and hiring someone that's not the right fit just because I'm drowning in work. So I'm taking it really slow without thinking that I've only got a finite number of years to go. So I'm trying not to think of that and just take my time and wait for that right person or persons to come into my life.
And the other thing that is sort of in your future is that you are wanting to do more like time and places like going to Bali for a couple of months and things like that. And so the business is all set up around giving you that kind of flexibility.
Yes, and that's my terms, and I'm not willing to operate any other way than that. And my clients are completely fine with it. They love it. They can see how refreshed I am when I get back. So I've already got 3 overseas holidays booked for 2025.
Whoa, that sounds awesome.
Yeah,
why not?
So including CleoCon. So I'm booked to go to Boston in October. So,
amazing. That would be so good. So someone else from who was in the program, Gina. Did you meet Gina at Law BizCon?
Yes, I know Gina.
Yeah, Gina's from New Zealand, from a small town called Raglan, and she's actually at a very similar life stage as you as well, where she's sort of got her business there, but it's like, it's about her living rather than living to work. It's like the work is supporting the life she wants. And so she came over to Austin and was at the CleoCon conference, and we caught up, and she's just having a ball.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw you over there and seeing a lot of the displays and things like that, and I'm very much about automation and doing everything I can to make the client experience as easy as possible, and also for me as well. So just looking at all the new technology, and I just want to experience all of that. So Matthew and I are going to come along to Boston and have a good look.
Yeah.
And just the motivational speakers and that type of thing. So I'm really looking forward.
It's an amazing conference. It's very nearly overwhelming with the amount, like going through and thinking about everything that you want to do over the 2 days. So actually narrowing that down to work out what you're going to benefit from the most. But it's really awesome. And so that's great that you're planning on creating the business that fits into your lifestyle. So really having these big rocks of travel and things that you want to be doing, and then you're just managing and taking on what you want, the clients you love, and the timing that you want and all of that kind of thing, which I think that's the reason for being in business, right?
Yes. It's not to be, stressed and like I was. That's not how I saw what I was doing. I didn't think that would play out. So I'm this is version 2, and I'm going forward with my terms and just adding value to my clients, and they know the value that I give them. And I'm looking forward to 2025 and the rest of 2024.
Oh, definitely. And for those that are listening who are sort of in their own practices and they're maybe where you were, where they're feeling stressed and overwhelmed and they're feeling, all of these sorts of things, and then they're hearing that you're able to now control the clients that you're getting in, the work that you're doing. I also believe from another conversation that we've had that you've recently raised your prices without fear. You raised them without fear and you just did it, which is awesome, because I know a lot of people tuning in their heart of hearts, they know they're not charging enough. So can you talk us through that?
Okay, so when I first started the business, I was charging $220 for a will.
That's crazy.
I did put my prices up, and I was at quite a comparable level to what others in the local area were charging. When I made the decision that I wanted to work differently and just have clients that really saw the value in what I offer, and I found my own self-worth as well, just from talking to you and a lot of the other lawyers in the group, I decided that I was just going to go for it. And I doubled my prices, in some cases tripled for some of the more complex packages. And I thought, if I don't get another client, that's fine. That's meant to be. And I've had more clients than ever.
Yeah.
And I've got waiting lists now till March. So there shouldn't be that fear around there. And I know my situation's different because I don't have to work, but I didn't feel like I was valued, and that's changed since I did that. And the client experience, it's just much better, because I'm now seeing the same clients but making more for me, I suppose. And that's why we're in business, is to make money.
100%. And I think the thing that we forget about is sometimes we offer services that end up we're just rotating money. It's just cash flow for the sake of cash flow, and there's actually no profit in there for you.
Yes.
And that, of course, leads to business troubles. It's not sustainable. You will end up burnt out. When you're doing unprofitable work, that's where you end up the most resentful and annoyed. And often, sometimes, for whatever reason, those clients that you bend over backwards for and discount and humbug around with, they're the matters that end up just being completely disastrous and unprofitable.
Yeah, and that was my experience as well, because I did bend over backwards and I did discount and that to help the clients out. But now I see the value in what I do provide, because I visit clients in their own home.
Yeah.
So why should I be charging the same as someone where they come into the office, have to come into the office between Monday to Friday, 9 to 5?
Yes.
I see clients at the times that suit them.
Yes.
And in the place that suits them. So I'm delivering something different.
Yes, yeah.
And I think if you can differentiate yourself, you can charge the higher prices.
Yes.
And that's what I've done. And I'm not looking back at all. I'm not going to discount ever again.
And I think wills and estates as well is an excellent practice area where you can offer really good fixed fee packages, and built into those fixed fee packages are excellent hourly rates. So, I've worked with clients that their hourly rates are some of the highest out of all practice areas, because they build it into a really awesome service and fixed fee that people are really excited actually about paying for, because they are happy with what they get packaged up and the result they get.
Because I knew exactly how long it would take me to do that from previous. I knew how long it would take me to do a matter. I've priced accordingly, and so my hourly rate is very high.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like it's very high.
I always say that if I could redo my practice area and decide that I wasn't going to do family law from a business perspective, because I think we all we all fall into the areas of law we're in and start the business in that area of law, not based on business values, but based on the service that we want to provide.
Yes.
Because you've always been a family lawyer, so you provide family law or whatever it might be. But if I was choosing from just a business perspective, I would choose either estates and testamentary trusts like what you do, or I would choose immigration. And they both have similar kinds of aspects where it's fixed fee, it's document based, a lot of it can be automated. And from a business perspective, I think it's a really smart business.
I mean, I think so too. The fact that all my precedents are automated, my client intake is automated, my client outboarding is automated. Apart from me seeing the client, everything is automated.
Yes. Yeah.
So that allows me to be very profitable.
Yes, that's right. That's awesome. And so what is sort of next, do you think, in terms of like the project that you're working on, or, you know, that something that you're doing to sort of next level the business?
I'm doing some work on lead generators at the moment because I like to offer these for potential clients because they see value in that, and that also differentiates me from other lawyers who might just have a one-page fact sheet.
Yeah.
So I'm working on those, moving into an office, my first office on Monday, which will give me space to grow. And I'm also looking at, I have been doing it alongside my legal work, is helping small businesses with their marketing as well. So not lawyers, but small business owners that need a bit of help have reached out and asked me to help them with their marketing because they like mine. So yeah. I want to see where that can take me as well, and that's probably 2025.
Yeah, awesome.
I'm looking at doing that.
And so with the lead generators, for those who are listening and don't know the lingo, what exactly does a lead generator look like in your business?
Okay, so I just finished a few weeks ago. It's 81 pages of everything people can possibly want to know about wills. I've got another one about how every woman should have an estate planning place, and I've got another guide that I'm working on at the moment in relation to enduring powers of attorney. And I've also got my workbook, which is a letter of wishes, which is a 50-page document that I give to all of my clients at the end of the matter, something that they can take away that looks pretty, and it's got lots of useful information and areas for them to complete. Like they can do love letters to their family, they can give guidance to their executor and that type of thing. So that's an added value that, and my clients are loving that. But the lead generators, yes, are free guides, so free guides to wills.
So the high value guides to potential clients.
Yes.
And where do they find them? Are they organically being found, or are you offering them on some paid ads, or how are you getting that guide out there?
At the moment, it's through my website. A lot of people go to my website, and that's my new one that I started earlier on this year. It's much more user-friendly than the one I spent a lot of money on for someone to build. It's got lots of interaction, and there's lots of freebies in there as well as a lot about me and the process that I take clients through. And also social media. I'm huge on social media.
You are huge on social media.
Yes, so that's using my marketing hat.
Yes, and with the social media, I think that's another reason that, people don't quibble about what they're paying, because they've really got to know you, through everything you're offering. So you're offering all this value, so you're building trust constantly with clients, and they, it's not about what the thing is that they're getting or the price of the thing. It's actually that they want to work with you.
Yeah, that's the feedback that I'm getting, is they want to work with me. They're prepared to wait to work with me, that's so flattering to have that. But yes, those lead generators, I make them really, really valuable. So I'm not just giving out a fact sheet.
Yes.
It's something really valuable, and they think, wow, she knows a lot and she's giving this away for free and that type of thing. But yeah, social media, I'm on there everywhere, and the client, that's where my clients come, because I do track all my clients as to where they've found me from. And overwhelmingly, it's Facebook, Instagram, and then referrals from financial planners, as well as referrals from my previous clients.
Yeah, awesome. But see, the thing is, I think too with referrals is that more and more people, they might be referred, but then they're going to be checking you out. I mean, I know I do that. I look on Instagram because you want to get a feel for what someone's like before you engage them.
Yes, they've always looked at my website first. I know that because that's how they make the booking. They usually make the booking from my website for a 15-minute free consultation. They love the fact that they can just discuss it first with me without there being any obligation. I used to do it for a lot longer, but now it's 15 minutes. And
us too. We've shortened ours right down, and it's working a treat.
And it's not to provide advice.
Yes.
It's to find out what they need in relation to estate planning, how I can help them, and how much it's going to cost.
Yeah, and I was going to say, sorry to interrupt. I think as well in that process, it's so important that we are qualifying them.
Yes.
Not the other way around. So in that 10-minute call, it's really thinking, is this a client that I can work with and that I can help and that I know that I can provide an excellent service to and solve their problem? Because not every client is that person, but we have this mindset that I hope they want us.
Yeah.
Rather than the opposite.
Yes, and so I've sort of reversed that a little bit. So they need to do some work before they get that 15-minute call with me. So I need to make sure that they're serious. I need to make sure they're not just ringing me up for some free advice. So they've got some steps that they need to do first. They need to have seen my packages. They need to have seen certain sections of my website. And I've now got an intake form or like a questionnaire that they have to complete before the 15-minute call.
Yes.
And that sort of is how I gauge whether they're actually serious or they're just looking at price or whatever. And I only started that intake form recently, and that's blown it out of the park.
That's definitely what we do as well. And it works very, very well. And I basically say if they don't value our time enough to fill out the questionnaire, which is all automated, it's sent to them in an automated way, then they don't deserve our 10 minutes or 15 minutes of time. Because
that's right.
It's otherwise the entry of like taking your time, and it is just too easy for them. And the reality is that none of the legal services that any of us offer are a quick thing, quick fix. It takes commitment financially, and it takes time commitment as well for all of our clients to actually get a result.
Absolutely. I mean, my clients, it's generally a 2-week turnaround. I'm not a do-it-yourself will with a computer-generated template. Mm-hmm. So the process takes at least 2 weeks, sometimes more if the clients need a little bit more time. But it's not quick, and I think they see that in itself as the value.
Yes.
As well, is that I'm not just generating this, $50 will. I'm actually giving them something of substance. And when they look at my will, which is minimum 13 pages, and they look at the will they had previously, which is 2 pages,
yes,
like they see the difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
They see the difference.
So with prices and your packages, you mentioned before that you said you want them to see it first, so do you have that on your website, the prices?
Yes, I've got my prices all on my website. When clients book that 15-minute chat, they get an automated text message and email, and it takes them, there's a link, and they are told to go and have a look at the packages first.
So they're already partially qualified. You're basically saying, this is my offering, and here are the prices. If that suits you, please hop on a call with me.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I've noticed that a lot more estate lawyers are putting packages and pricing on their websites, which I think is is excellent, because you don't want the people who are after a $200 or $500 will. You're after people who seriously want to protect their assets, and you're looking for a certain qualification of clientele.
Exactly. They're wanting a will that's been tried and tested, which our wills have. They've gone through probate and that type of thing. So it's going to stand the test of time. We don't just do a plan A. We've got a plan A, B, C, D, E. And as I said, our documents are, multiple pages, and that's just for a simple will. But it gives a lot of direction to their executors. It gives a lot of definitions, so the executors don't have such a hard job of deciphering what the will means and what they're allowed to do and what they're not allowed to do. So I think that makes a difference, and clients feel really comfortable with that.
Yeah, and I love the way that you're able to, you're just really confident about your pricing, and you're really confident about sharing your pricing openly and things like that. I think that's a very new law way of doing things. Whereas there's sort of like the secretiveness sometimes in law around all of that kind of stuff. Whereas for you, it's like actually qualifying those people first and making sure that you're not getting tire kickers and wasting your time. And really you're saying, if you're wanting a quality product, I offer a quality service, and being really confident about it.
I'm confident about it. And if you can hear that noise, we've got a thunderstorm.
Oh, no, I can't hear it.
Can you hear that noise?
I can't hear it.
Yeah, we've just got a thunderstorm going, so it's, quite noisy. But
summer,
that's good if you can't hear it.
Summer storm season in Queensland.
It's a summer storm. It'll just barrel down and then go away. So,
So that's, I think, all the questions I had for you today, and I've really loved following your journey and being a little bit a part of it, and I have loved watching, you grow in your law practice, and, just the way that you have embraced everything has been awesome. So if anyone wants to follow Adele, what's your Instagram and LinkedIn handle so that people can find you?
All right. I think it's mainly under my name, so it'll be Adele Anthony. If you look under Adele Anthony, your legacy lawyer, you'll be able to find me. I can't remember the exact names off the top of my head, but you'll find me there on LinkedIn. I've also got TikTok as well. So,
you're on TikTok. Tell me about that.
I'm on TikTok. I haven't done a lot on it, but I really should do a little bit more on it, because it's a different type of clientele or people, but I have got some leads from that, and also converted clients. So
that's awesome.
TikTok is there, and clients do see you.
That's awesome. And with TikTok as well, you're already creating the content. So I've noticed that you've stepped it up in terms of reels. You're doing a lot of reels and things like that, which is awesome. And so you can just reuse them on TikTok.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm trying to mix it up a little bit, because I want the reels actually give you a lot more followers and non-followers. So the percentage of non-followers is huge. So that has created then people that are actually following my page and that type of thing. So I'm mixing it up a little bit, and just showing the personal side of me a little bit more. And that's taken time, because I'm not very confident of that because of my age a little bit, but my confidence has started to increase, and I think people can probably see that in my posts.
Well, you honestly do not look 60 at all. And when I first learned that you had like an adult grandchild, my mind was blown.
He's in the police force now.
Wowzers! You've got a police grandson who's in the police force. So yeah, I guess you get that all the time, though.
I do, but it doesn't get old.
No, but no. it won't get old, and but that's because you definitely don't look 60, and you don't have the mindset of someone who what we think looks like 60. You just all go ahead, embracing all the technology, embracing all the changes, embracing new law, which is awesome, and just living your best life, which I love.
Definitely am. So I'm looking forward to 2025.
Yeah.
So I'm on my fitness journey as well, and that's increasing my confidence as well. So look out for 2025.
Awesome. Well, you're an inspiration to us all, Adele, and you're such an amazing supporter of mine, which I really appreciate. And we love having you as part of our wider, community as well. So thank you so much for joining the podcast. And I hope
thank you. And
everyone...
I can't say thank you enough for all your support and encouragement as well.
You're welcome. It's been my pleasure. Thank you for listening to the Scalable Law Podcast, brought to you by the Scalable Business Lounge. If you would love to know how you can get more clients without relying on referrals, head over to scalablelaw.com to watch my free masterclass. Until next time, you have got this.